Okay, what's happening everyone? Today is, I do believe, Saturday the 10th or the 11th maybe, and this is episode number 6 of the Talk With Maksim Show. Before we get into it, just want to give a quick mention that my fight is 2 weeks away, which is happening in Birmingham, England. So if you want to watch that, tune in. You can get the pay-per-view by following the link in my description there, which is actually on my website, which is live as well. I did mention in the last episode. So if you want to get the pay-per-view, you can get it by following the link. I'll leave it the first link in the description, and then or the fight is also available to watch on Sky, which is going to be channel 437, I do believe. So obviously, if you're looking to support me, make sure you're following the links either for the pay-per-view or whatever, or if you're watching on Sky, make sure you tune in on that. Okay, so I have a couple of things to talk about. Obviously today is Saturday, we have the big UFC event happening tonight, so it's gonna be in the morning here in Ireland, so I probably won't be watching. I'll be probably asleep. I'll just wake up and I'll watch it the next day or something like that, because and then plus I fast on Sunday, so I do a 20-hour fast on Sunday, so it's something to take my mind off the fasting as well. So which I'm actually pretty used to anyways, but it's something to take my mind off. I have all day to watch. There's a lot of fights happening, so I'll just probably end up watching just fights all Sunday. Okay, so a few things I want to talk about. I actually was watching, when was it? It was a couple of days ago, maybe on a Wednesday, so about 3-4 days ago, I watched the latest episode of Mike Tyson's Hotboxing, which is actually one of my favorite shows to watch because they don't last too long. They're only about 40 to 50 minutes, but they're actually interesting. He has some very interesting guests, a lot of athletes. I know, who did he have? He has a few rappers on as well, like, but mostly athletes, former boxers, some NFL guys. I know he had some NHL guys, and just your random star. But I watched an episode the other day he had Oscar De La Hoya on, which is actually really interesting. I won't spoil it too much for you, but if you're a fan of the Mike Tyson, you're definitely gonna be a fan of his show of Hotboxing. But what he had Oscar De La Hoya on, and I won't spoil it too much, but it was interesting. He said that, obviously, if you know Mike Tyson, he's mad into taking shrooms and stuff like that, okay? So he's mad in psychedelics, tripping out, and he does like it, and he does enjoy it. Obviously, he has his own weed farm and stuff like that. He grows his own plants, sells them, and stuff like that. He has his own farm. But he had Oscar De La Hoya on, I will say Wednesday for a say. I think it was Wednesday anyways, that I watched it on Wednesday, and he has the maddest story there, actually. I didn't know. It's not too mad, but it's pretty crazy that they're talking, and Henry Cejudo, who is the co-host on the show, he asked him, "Look, Oscar, are you into psychedelics? Do you take anything?" And then Oscar De La Hoya mentioned that he did actually take a trip. He took some shrooms. I know he microdosed, I think, and so he took his trip. He tripped, and it's a moon story. Like, he said that he felt like he left his body, kind of flew up into the sky or into space, and then catapulted down into the ocean. Then seen his mother, actually. Well, he wasn't his actual mother. He said, I think he was like a creature, he said, but he knew, like, the creature kind of resembled his mother. So I'm not sure what way. Was it the voice of this creature, or I don't know, maybe there was a bit of a face or something like that, but he knew straight away. He said that was his mother, and he said that his mother was actually bowing down to him, and he couldn't figure out. He was saying that what happened, how come she was bowing down to him, and she said, "I forgive you," and stuff like that. It was moving, and he was also saying about his mom that she used to beat him when he was a kid, and stuff like that. Like, she used to beat him with a belt, always since he was a kid, and stuff like that, which I thought was mad. I never knew some of these facts. And then what else was he saying? He said something else about his mom. Yeah, I think, I don't know his mom, but he did say as well that when he was stripping, he said he seen himself as a 9-year-old boy, and as a kid, and he said that he didn't freak out or something like that, but he said he seen him as a 9-year-old kid, and he was kind of walking towards himself as the kid. And he said as he got closer and closer and closer, he couldn't take it anymore, and Oscar said that he freaked out and opened his eyes, and then he was kind of gone out of the trip. I'm not sure what way it works 100%, but you're gonna have to listen to the podcast. It's actually pretty cool, interesting podcast. He also said that he's gonna be coming back to boxing. And I thought he's going to be doing a few exhibitions, which obviously a lot of ex-boxers are doing now. But he actually said that he does want to fight. He wants to have 3 fights. And he says in the 3rd fight, he wants to fight either, who does he want to fight? Canelo Alvarez or Floyd Mayweather. I think it's going to be crazy. I think he should obviously, if he gets a chance to fight Floyd, that'd be a big money fight for either fighter. But if he does fight Canelo, I do believe Canelo will probably destroy him, because Canelo's too good. Canelo's in his prime. Oscar he's an older man now. I'm not sure what age he is. He must be in his late 40s or something like that. I don't think he has a chance against Canelo. I personally don't think any boxer there has a chance at the moment against Canelo. Unless you're like heavyweight, someone like Tyson Fury or someone like that, you might have you will definitely, obviously, size advantage and stuff like that. But like someone like Oscar De La Hoya, there's no way if he's coming back, he's gonna be fucking what Oscar De La Hoya, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, Eddie Alvarez, yeah, he's not Eddie Alvarez. What am I talking about? What's his name? Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. What else do I want to say? The Tokyo Olympics are happening now next month, and I was actually reading there earlier today or yesterday that actually they were thinking about having a full crowd at the Olympics, but now they said that they're gonna have an empty crowd. I'm not sure what way actually is gonna affect the athletes have no crowd, because some athletes do like, as even you see some fighters do enjoy having the crowd there. It kind of pumps them up. So it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be the weirdest Olympics to happen. Yeah, obviously there's obviously other things have happened previously in the Olympics, like the terrorist attacks and stuff like that in one of the hotels. I can't remember what country it was exactly, but I was watching a documentary recently, and there was a terrorist attack in one of the hotels and stuff like that. But this is gonna be weird because there's gonna be no crowd, and I was looking forward to it. And I think, look, a lot of people are still gonna be watching the Olympics, but I think their ratings are gonna be going downhill this year, because obviously they won't have any spectators there or anything like that. And I haven't heard any young person like in their, we'll say in their 20s or early teens talk about the Olympics. And obviously if you're going back to like 30-40 years ago, everyone like used to watch the TV or whatever, listen to the radio and stuff like that when the Olympics came on. But nowadays no one really pays attention to the Olympics too much, and they have these weird sports. They have like skateboard and snowboard and stuff like that. Now personally, I'm not, look, it is a skill, obviously skateboard and snowboard and stuff like that, it is a skill, but I don't think it's an Olympic, should be an Olympic sport now, to be fair. And I do know there are Adam bouldering, which is a rock climber, so I think it's like if I'm correct, it's like a 15-foot or 12-foot wall with different angles and stuff like that and different difficulties. I do believe they are adding that to the Olympics this year, or the next Olympics, which I do believe is, yeah, I see why they have it, because it is very skillful sport and stuff like that, compared to like, if you're comparing it to snowboarding and skateboarding. I'm not saying that snowboarding and skateboarding aren't a difficult sport, but I do believe bouldering requires more training, more skill and stuff like that to do. And I just think it's going to be pretty mad that there's going to be no crowd this year. And as you see, slowly there is events now happening. Obviously the UFC this weekend in LA, opening up the Euros for the football. Over in England, they're having full crowds and stuff like that. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty mad to see the Olympics with no crowd for the first time ever, I do believe. And I'm only looking forward to really the freestyle wrestling in the Olympics. That's the only sport I'm really looking forward to, and I believe that it's starting mid-August, so next month is going to be the freestyle Olympics are happening. Men's and women's freestyle, then obviously they have the Greco, and they probably freestyle, Greco, and I'm not sure what other one they're going to be having this year, but I'm really looking to the freestyle. The teams are looking amazing, especially Team USA is actually looking very good for the squad. And you know, Jordan Borr is one of the greatest wrestlers, didn't even make the Team USA squad for this Olympics. So I know he's at the training center helping them train and stuff like that, but I do believe that he did not make the squad this year. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how the Team USA get on with him, because I think he's a two-time Olympian gold medalist, and obviously he's going for his third gold medal, but he couldn't get into the squad. So I'm not sure if he's going to be retiring now or what's the story, because he is getting young. He's not getting any younger. He's getting older, obviously, and he mightn't get another chance to get to the Olympics this year. Might have been his last year trying to get into the Olympics. Obviously, the next one's going to be 4 years time. He'll be probably close to 40, and then in 4 years time, I think he's about 34 or so, around that age. I could be wrong now. I could be totally wrong, but I do believe he's somewhere around their age. So maybe for the next Olympics, he just won't be entering it because he'd be just too old. Okay, what else? Something to do with sport again. I've just did read somewhere that the Nevada State Athletic Commission are no longer going to be testing fighters, not all athletes, just fighters, for weed. So you can actually, if you're a boxer or you're fighting if you're a professional MMA fighter, obviously, or some, I do believe it's just fighters. I'm not sure about 100% about boxing, but I know about MMA that they're no longer testing you for weed, and you can actually smoke. I think you'll be able to smoke literally until the day of the fights, which is going to be pretty mad. Because I wouldn't do it, because some people get mad paranoid sometimes, some people get mad relaxed and stuff. People get anxiety, and everyone's different with weed and stuff like that. So I do believe a lot of fighters, obviously, about 2 weeks before the fight, to do some smoking. So, but I thought it was just interesting that the Nevada Athletic Commission have actually said, okay, you're allowed to smoke whatever you want and stuff like that. We're not going to be testing for it. And then we have the girl, the 100-meter sprinter on Team USA. She missed her Olympic trials there. That obviously she got popped for smoking weed. I just thought it was moon that, like, she gets popped and then a week later there's a big huge story and there's a lot of commotions going on about that. A lot of people aren't happy, and the next week the Nevada State Athletic Commission say, oh, you know what, we aren't going to be testing anymore, which I think is weird, and I feel really sorry for the girl. I think her second name is Richardson. I did mention in my last show, but I'm really bad with names, so don't quote me on them, because I just have really bad memory when it comes to especially with names like fighters, or you know what the worst is? People asking me about TV actors. Okay, so as in movie stars and stuff, they're like, oh, do you know this fella? He's in this movie. Do you know this fella? He's in this movie. And they'll name me, say what, I don't know, say with Leonardo DiCaprio or something like that. I know what he looks like. Obviously, he's pretty famous and stuff like that. But the least famous ones, they're like, oh, do you know this? Actually, they expect me to know, and I'm like, no, I actually don't know. No, I haven't a clue who they are. I'm so bad with when it comes to like actors, even athletes. I watch a lot of NFL games, NHL, NBA, and stuff like that. Like, I know the players or whatever, the athletes, whatever you want to call them, to see. But if you just tell me their name, like, I don't know, say like Devin Brook, he obviously plays for the Sun, and if someone goes, oh, do you know Devin? He plays for the Suns. I'm like, yeah, do I know him? I'm like, oh yeah, that's him. I do know, but I'm really bad when it comes to names and stuff like that. Right, so one other thing, we have the Euro finals. Obviously, we have England versus Italy now happening. I do believe which is tomorrow. I'll be watching that. It's in the evening time here in Ireland, so it's actually pretty cool. I can actually relax and watch that in the evening. It's something to be at. But England versus Italy is happening, and a lot of people, I didn't watch the Euros this year. I watched the odd game, international game, but like if I'm watching any other, say, match, it'd be just if Manchester United are playing. I'm a big fan of them. Haven't watched them too much this year or last year. But obviously the Premier League is only starting now soon enough. I'm actually not sure when, maybe September or something like that, the Premier League is starting again. I could be wrong. I haven't followed the Premier League or any football league really in ages. And even I went to play FIFA or something the other day, and it's a new one, and can't remember what team I chose, but I did not know half of the players that were playing. Same as the Euros, I watched the odd game like Germany were playing. I know, for me, I remember Germany as when Tony Cruz used to play, Mueller used to play, Ozil used to play, and from like what 6 years ago, I used to know every player. Now I look at some teams, I haven't a clue. Even the English squad, I haven't a clue who's playing, what positions playing. But back in the day, maybe say 10 years ago, I could name you nearly every player on every team. And now I don't really follow that much. I know where even if any transfers happen, I know where the big stars go. Obviously, like Ronaldo for Juventus when he went from Real Madrid. I know Sergio Ramos just signed for PSG there. When did he sign? I think like only earlier this week I did read something that Sergio Ramos is going to PSG. Now I know the big stars, but I wouldn't have a clue about, like, even especially some international teams. I wouldn't know. Like, I remember who was playing. Portugal was playing, and the only players I knew on Portugal was Ronaldo, obviously one of the greatest footballers to ever live, and then Nani. The only reason I know Nani is because he used to play for Manchester United back about 10 years ago, you know what I mean? And he was actually really good. That's the only reason. And any other player, I didn't really know them. I know there's another guy that actually plays for Manchester United. Can't remember his name really, but he plays for Portugal. I have, see what I'm talking about. I'm bad with names. I can picture him, but I haven't a clue what his name is. But anyways, back to Italy versus England. I have Italy winning. I didn't follow it too much, but I did hear a lot of experts saying that they have Italy winning. Even before the Euro started, they were already saying, look, Italy have a very strong squad this year, and I think they're going to win it. And look, they got to the finals, and I'm going to go with the experts, and I'm going to go for Italy to beat England in the final. But look, I don't mind if England win. I don't mind seeing them win, because they haven't. I know either team hasn't won it in ages, even any major like international competition, like obviously talking about the Euros or the World Cup or stuff like that. What other cups there is, I'm having a clue myself. But yeah, I'm going for it with the experts, and I'm going for Italy to win it. I came across actually a joke on Twitter. It was on Instagram on the TMZ page, and he said, I was absolutely baffled. It just goes to show. It's talking about Drake. So obviously everyone knows who Drake is, and if you don't, just look him up. He's a big songwriter and stuff like that. Big superstar, obviously, loads of money. And I was reading a thing, and it just shows how much money he actually does have and how much power he has. So Drake, he went on a date. I'm not sure the lady that he went with. Cannot remember her name. I think her name begins with I. Back again, shit with names. But anyways, whoever she was. But the thing is, he rented out the Dodgers. I do believe that it's the baseball team, Dodgers. He rented out the stadium to go on a date. And I was thinking in my mind, it's like, oh, cool. So you must have just, and it said rented out the full stadium. I was like, okay, maybe just, somewhere in the stands, he rented out a little thing for their date. No, he actually rented out a full stadium, right? So he had the full stadium rented out. There wasn't a game on or anything like that. The Dodgers stadium was empty. I mean, there was nobody there but 2 tables with Drake and his missus, whoever he brought. But it just goes to show how much star power that he has, that he's able to do this. And I'm just wondering, how much money did he have to pay to the Dodgers team, obviously, or the owners, to be able to just go, oh, you know what, can we actually go on a date? Can you set up a few tables there, just just at the sidelines there, and we're just going to chill out? That just baffles me, the amount of star power that fella has. And you know what, nowadays star power is everything. You could be smart, you could be dumb, but if you're a star, you can do anything nowadays. Because I was only talking about it earlier about Conor McGregor. He's such a big star right now in the UFC that they don't care about him. And he's only like, he won one fight in the last 5 years or something like that. And if you're any other fighter, if you fought, say you fought like in 5 years, he probably fought 5 times and he won once, which is against Cowboy Cerrone, washed up Cowboy as well. If you are any other fighter, if you're like in the top 15 and you've only had one fight in 5 years, you're getting cut, okay? But this just goes to show how much star power he actually does have, and it's amazing. I was only talking about it, so as I said, you can be dumb or you could be super smart. But if you're dumb and you're a star, people will follow you. They don't care what you say, but all they see is that star. Oh, he's a big star. He's a big star. He can do anything, which just goes to to show what Drake is like. Drake is obviously super smart. Obviously, Grammys. He's one of the best musicians. I was about to say artist. Well, you can kind of call him an artist, but he's one of the best musicians out there. He's such a big star that he's just able to go. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna ring. Do you wanna go on a date? Oh yeah. Where do you wanna go? Oh, I think we're gonna go to the Dodgers Stadium and we're gonna set up a few tables there. I think that just baffles me. I think it's amazing. Oh well, fair play to him. Obviously, he worked very hard for that. But I just think it's mad the way he was able to set up a date in an empty stadium. At least if there was a game on or something like that, I would understand it. Maybe he's a big fan of Dodgers. I know he's a big fan of who's a big fan of LA Lakers. I think is it LA Lakers. I think it's LA Lakers. And imagine just seeing the Lakers play in the playoffs or regular season or something like that. Next thing people look over, there's a table set up with Drake. Like, that would not surprise me because I know he's such a big star and he's a big fan of LA Lakers. But he rented out the Dodgers Stadium when it was empty for one, and I don't even think he follows baseball or anything like that. So I don't know. It's a bit mad to me the way that he rented out the stadium. Anyways, what else do I want to talk about? Yeah, so we obviously big UFC card happening tonight. Actually, I won't be watching until tomorrow, as I said previously. But such a huge card, and the Dana White does say it's scaling to be the biggest pay-per-view event ever. Just goes to show how much again Connor's on it. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of Connor. Look, don't get me wrong, brilliant fighter and stuff like that. I just don't like his antics, the way he goes on, the way I used to like his trash talk when he just got into the UFC. When he started, he was actually okay, but now when he's bringing like the likes of Khabib and Poirier's wife, Khabib's parents and stuff like that, Khabib's family into, or any other fighter's family into, I'm just not into that. I just like, okay, you can trash talk about the fighter, talk about the fight, about their fighting skill, but why bring their family into stuff like that? But that's why I don't like him. Don't get me for now, fighter. Anyways, I was saying, big card. This is trending to be the biggest pay-per-view event in the history of the UFC, and I do believe McGregor vs Khabib sold 2.4 million pay-per-views, and so obviously, as if what Dana says is true, they're gonna say way more than that. So obviously, I'm probably thinking about 2.67 million pay-per-views, and there's obviously the trilogy between him and Poirier. I'm not so excited about that fight. I'm more excited about Gilbert Burns versus Wonderboy Thompson. I got Wonderboy in that fight. Anyways, if you want to know my predictions, you can go check out my last video and see. I think it's like a 20-minute video about where I went over the whole main card, and I think I did a prediction and like an overview thing of two prelim fights, I do believe, which was Ryan Hall versus Ilya, and then who else was there? Carlos Condit versus Max Griffin. I do believe they're the two fights I talked about, the prelims and then the full main card. If you haven't seen that, obviously go check it out. I'm really excited about it. I got Dustin Poirier in the main event. I don't know, I just think that someone made a very good fact. I was watching a yoke that BT Sport did, and True Georgia was on it. And if you don't know who True Georgia is, I won't say he's just a big podcaster, and he just talks about random stuff. Anyways, he's a big star in the UK, and he was saying, look, we've heard in their second fight against Dustin Poirier and McGregor too, we heard the coaches, like John Kavanagh, Conor McGregor's coach, say this is going to be the best Conor McGregor we've ever seen, and it was actually the worst one we've ever seen. So I got Dustin Poirier in the main event. Yeah, anything else I want to talk about? No, I don't think there is anything else I need to mention. Anyways, as I said, my fight is only 2 weeks away. Pay-per-view links are all in the description. Any links, my website is obviously live and stuff like that. So if you want to check it out, go check it out. What else? Obviously the fight is going to be live on Sky TV. So channel 437, I do believe, is the one. And that's it, really. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Obviously the scene here is a bit different. I have the camera angle a bit different. I like it this way better than the previous times I have, because I have my computer there, I have my notes here, so I can kind of switch compared to we'll say I was sitting like this before, I had to keep looking over, but this time I just glance over if I want to read some news or something like that. I can see right there. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will be seeing you in the next one, which will be coming out probably on Monday. We're gonna be talking obviously about the UFC, the card is gonna be happening, and then a few other bits. Obviously, you just have to wait and see some interesting topics coming up. So hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you in the next one.